ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له جل عن الشبيه والمثيل والكفء والنظير وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله وخيرته من خلقه وأمينه على وحيه أرسله ربه رحمة للعالمين وحجة على العباد أجمعين فهدى الله تعالى به من الضلالة وبصر به من الجهالة وكثر به بعد القلة ولم به بعد الشتات فصلوات الله وسلامه Dars of Shamaa'il Tirmidhi, alhamdulillah, 11th, so we're on the 11th class. And today we are covering Babu ma ja'a fi kuhli Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The chapter that what has been narrated concerning the kuhl of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Anybody know what kuhl is? Can someone tell me? Just to summarize. Yeah, so it is what you apply in your eyes, right? It's a powder. It's a powdery substance. Is it mascara? Is it the same thing as mascara? Is it? No, it's not. It's not the same thing as mascara. Right? Mascara is different to kuhl, although it's the same concept. I remember when in Mahad al-Lugha, one of my Egyptian teachers, I don't know where the conversation of mascara came from, but he said mascara comes from the root of the word maskhara. Because back in the day, clowns, they wore makeup, and so now, women, they wear makeup. It's actually, so I looked it up, and they said mascara, it could have come from like Italian or Spanish roots, which means mask, because you put a mask on, right? Or maskhara, from sukhriya, to something that a clown would wear and apply on their face. So similarly, that's what makeup is. They're gonna kill me for this, huh? Yes, Yes. So, kuhl, you apply it. It's in like the water lid. The watery part of your eye, like inside your eye. You don't poke your eye, but that's what kuhl is. It's a powdery substance. It's black or red. It's called ithmid, right? In Urdu, we call it. Anybody know Urdu? Surma. We call it surma, right? So that's just an intro. Inshallah, we'll go over the hadith and some ahkam related to it, and some fawaid ilmiya, inshallah, in relation to kuhl and applying kuhl. عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال اكتحلوا بالإثمد. He said apply ithmid. Ithmid is the specific powder that's reddish, right? فإنه يجلو البصر وينبت الشعر وزعم أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كانت له مكحلة يكتحل منها كل ليلة ثلاثة في هذه وثلاثة في هذه. So Ibn Abbas رضي الله عنهما narrates that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, apply ithmid, for it strengthens the eyesight. So the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم mentioned the illah, the reasoning as to applying kuhl in your eye, specifically ithmid, because it strengthens the eyesight and boosts the growth of your eyelashes. فإنه يجلو البصر وينبت الشعر. Right here, the eyelashes. And then he, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a container for kuhl, from which he would apply kuhl every night, thrice in this one and thrice in this one. Alayhi salatu wasalam. So anytime we say, you hear the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's name, what is the adab? You respond with sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. نحن في ربيع الأول في الربيع الأنور في ربيع الأزهر. We are in the month in which the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was born, and this is, and we're on Thursday night. So there's nothing more special than it can be than to cover the Shama'il of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam on a night like this, in this blessed month. وكان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يكتحل قبل أن ينام بالإثم ثلاثة في كل عين. وقال يزيد بن هارون, he mentions another sanad في حديثه إن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كانت له مكحلة يكتحل منها عند النوم ثلاثا في كل عين. I'm going to go over that hadith and then explain it all inshallah. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عليكم بالإثمد عند النوم فإنه يجلو البصر وينبت الشعر. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم would apply ithmid thrice in each eye before going to sleep. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم again had a kuhl container from which he would apply before going to sleep. And he's mentioning different asanid because sometimes the hadith is weak, and in order to strengthen it, he comes with different turuq. And the Prophet ﷺ in the last hadith, he would apply ithmid when going to sleep, for it strengthens the eyesight and boosts the growth of eyelashes. So there's a few things here. How did the Prophet ﷺ apply kuhl? So there's two opinions that the scholars mention, or two different ways. One of them is arjah wa awla, because it has riwayat that aid it, is that the first way is that the Prophet ﷺ would what? Apply it thrice in the right eye first. Okay? Thrice in the right eye. So 1, 2, 3, and then 3 times in the left eye. 1, 2, 3. So the Prophet ﷺ, he says in a hadith that do it with witr. Give it an odd number when you're doing it. So that is the first way and the more correct way that is aided by many hadith. The second way that the scholars mention is that he would apply it first in the right eye, and the left eye, and then the right eye, and then the left eye. That's 4 times. And then he would add a 5th time to the right eye. So the right eye gets it 3 times, has more of a fadl to the left eye, and it's with it. But like I said, the first way is awla wa arjah ala hasb riwayat al-mu'ayyida laha. Okay, so there's that mas'ala that we covered. How the Prophet ﷺ applied it. Now, the Prophet ﷺ, this is a huge bahth. I read a book prior to coming, it's called Al-Bahth fi Tibb al-Nabawi. Okay, this chapter is underneath that branch of what you could consider or call Al-Tibb al-Nabawi. Prophetic medicine, as they say. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned an illah here. He said, why did the Prophet ﷺ apply kuhl? Why did he apply kuhl? So he can have beautiful eyes? No. Why? What? يجل البصر, right? وينبت الشعر, right? To what? Help his eyesight, a medicinal benefit, and to what? Boost the growth and to grow the eyelashes. This is the illah that the Prophet ﷺ mentions, right? And so now we get to this point. Is at-tibb al-nabawi, is prophetic medicine from something that would be considered من ضمن التشريع ومن ضمن تبليغ الرسالة, or is it that something that the Prophet ﷺ said to do because that was what was practiced at the time? The ulama go into great detail in discussing this. And al-aqsid are the things that the Prophet ﷺ that he mentioned from prophetic medicine, are they because he was a prophet, yuha ilayh? Is this from wahi, or is this because it was practiced from amongst the Arab of the time? The ulama go into great detail and great discussion. And I'm not going to do tarjih here because I'm not someone who is worthy of doing tarjih. I'm just going to mention 2 of the opinions. One of the opinions in one of the madahib is that, yes, this is min dhimn al-tashri', and that a person should try to do this. It's not wajib, but should attempt to do this because the Prophet ﷺ did it, he recommended it, and he told us to do it. And so therefore, this prophetic medicine should be practiced. There is another opinion, and this is an opinion of many scholars, many, not just 1 or 2. For example, Shawwalullah Dahlawi, Qadi Iyad, the famous author of Ash-Shifa, many scholars, okay? I just mentioned 2. That say that anything that comes under the classification of At-Tibb al-Nabawi is not from what is classified as wahi. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he did say, what's in the Quran? إِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ يُوحَى إِلَيْهِ. That he himself is a bashar mithlana, except that he gets wahi. So is this from wahi? So the adillah that they use is that once the Prophet ﷺ, he advised some of the companions or some people that regarding an issue with trees, with pollination. And the Prophet ﷺ told them, أَنْتُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِأُمُورِ دُنْيَاكُمْ. It's a very famous quote. أَنْتُمْ أَعْلَمُ بِأُمُورِ دُنْيَاكُمْ. That you are more knowledgeable with the affairs of your dunya. So basically, what's understood from this is that you are not obligated to take from the Prophet ﷺ what does not come under at-tashri', or what is understood to be ibadah, to get closeness to Allah, to understand Islam. Aside from that, and many of the scholars mentioned, is the medicinal things. But this does not include what is mentioned explicitly in the Quran. What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for example, with prophetic medicine related to asal, say in the Quran. كُلِي مِن كُلِّ فَاسْلُكِي سُبُلَ رَبِّكِ ذُلُلًا يَخْرُجُ مِن بُطُونِهَا شَرَابٌ مُخْتَلِفٌ أَلْوَانُهُ فِيهِ شِفَاءٌ لِلنَّاسِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explicitly states in the Quran that asal has shifa. So now that is a different category. So that's not what these scholars are referring to. But aside from that, anything that goes under Tib al-Nabawi, the scholars say that this is not from Tashri', this is not from Tabligh al-Risala, so you can say that it's mubah, that you practice it. If it has medicinal benefit, then do it as the Prophet ﷺ did it. If it does not, and it goes against what is modern medicine, then you do not have to take it. You know, and some medicines are better applicable to some than others. I'll give you my example. Hijama, you know, I don't know if you've noticed, I have some knee issues, you know. And I used to do hijama a lot when I was a kid. A lot. My parents used to take me because the mashayikh, the imam, say, we'll take them for hijama. So wait, hijama مئات المرات. وما استفدت شيئا لم أستفد. Until I went to Medina and I met Hakim, one of those people that practice, you know, old school medicine. You know, in India and Pakistan, I don't know, they have these weird ways. So basically, he was like a chiropractor. He cracked me up and massaged me, where alhamdulillah, my knees were completely fixed, as if I was, you know, just was born. That's how it was. And he told me himself, that Hakim, he said that hijama for someone with a case like yours, arthritis, he said, is not useful. He said hijama for someone with a case like yours is useful. طيب. The Imam of the Masjid, he'll say, no, you should do hijama, Sunnah. Habibi, you have to understand that not every single thing is applicable to every single person. There are things that are more applicable to others, right? So same thing with kuhl. It's possible that by applying the kuhl, you might be even harming your eyes. You know, I see that many people here don't have glasses. I have glasses. My mom used to put kuhl on my eyes. What happened? It didn't get fixed. Right? So understand that prophetic medicine is to be understood in this light. That if it can be of benefit, and if it can be useful, then you should follow it. And that you should follow it with the intention that you're trying to get barakah by following the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? That should be the intention in applying or doing the medicinal things that are found within the sunnah, just like kuhl. But nowadays, when we see the kuhl that is sold in the markets, let me tell you that it's not authentic. You know, a lot of it, they say that has a lot of lead in it. So perhaps it could be of even darar. It can ruin your eyesight. It could ruin if you're applying something that is not actual asli. Because you're taking lead, and imagine, and you're putting it directly in your eyes. Do you think you're going to wake up and have good eyesight or worse eyesight? Come on, common sense, guys. If you put lead in your eyes, what is going to happen? It's not going to be good and beneficial for your eyes. But if you apply real ithmit, inshallah, and if you get something that is authentic and natural, and you apply it with the intention of following the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, it is very likely that you will achieve the benefit as the Prophet ﷺ mentioned. And I'm going to mention some kalam of Mullah Ali al-Qari. Anybody know who Mullah Ali al-Qari is? Mullah Ali al-Qari, I mentioned to Yazid once in the class. Mullah Ali al-Qari, he was called al-Qari because he was a muqri. He had the qira'at of Quran. He was a allama. He was a faqih, huge faqih. He was a muhaddith. He was a lughawi. He was an alim in aqidah. Huge alim. He has so many mu'allafat. And, you know, he died 400 years ago. So before I go into his kalam in reference to this, because he explained this mas'ala, he said, you want there's a fa'idah that my Sheikh Sa'id Dash, hafidhahullah wa ta'ala umrah, he mentioned this fa'idah of Mullah Ali al-Qari. You know, he asked me one day, he said, Abdul Razak, you know what his amal was? How did he work? Like, where did he get the finances? Like, what was his job? I said, Sheikh, I don't know. And then he mentioned from the tarajum that his job, Mullah Ali al-Qari, the person I'm going to read the nas of, that Mullah Ali al-Qari, that he had a very beautiful writing, very beautiful handwriting. And so he would handwrite masahif, and he would decorate them with gold and jewels and beautify it. And then he would sell them off to umara and muluk, and they would buy it at very, very high prices, right? Because they're able to do so. And so with that money that he would get from the umara and the muluk for selling them these luxurious and very high-end masahif that are decorated with jewels and gold, he would be able to sustain his lifestyle and dedicate himself to ilm. So this is his kalam. I'm going to say it in Arabic and then I'll explain it in English. وتعليل الأمر بالاكتحال بالمنافع الدنيوية لا ينافي كون الأمر للسنية لا سيما قد وقعت مواظبته الفعلية وترغيباته القولية صلى الله عليه وسلم وتلك المنافع وسيلة إلى الأمور الأخروية. So he says, and this is his opinion, that the justification or the reasoning of kuhl being mentioned towards dunyawi benefits, like the growing of the eyelashes and healthy eyesight, does not take away from the fact that this is still sunnah. لا ينافي كون الأمر للسنية. That does not take away from the fact that it's sunnah, because the Prophet ﷺ was consistent in doing this action, and he even encouraged doing so. Because we know, if the Prophet ﷺ did something, it's at a level. But if he did it and then he encouraged it, that's even higher. So the Prophet ﷺ, not only did he wear kuhl, but he said, iktahilu, where he told us and commanded us, not amar wujub, but he told us to also apply it. So this does not take away from the fact that kuhl is not a sunnah. And then he said, وَفِي التَّعْلِيلِ إِشَارَةٌ لَطِيفَةٌ إِلَىٰ أَنَّ الْمُكْتَحِلِ إِذَا أَرَادَ تَحْصِيلَ السُّنَّةِ يَنْبَغِي أَنْ يَقْصِدَ بِالِاكْتِحَالِ الْمُعَالَجَ وَالدَّوَاء لا مجرد الزينة كالنساء. ولذا ذهب الإمام مالك إلى كراهة الاكتحال للرجال مطلقا إلا للتداوي. And then so he continues on to mention that in the justification that the Prophet ﷺ and the explanation that he gave to wearing kuhl being associated with a medicinal benefit means that if a person like myself and you wears kuhl, then his intention should not be to beautify himself. Rather, it should be, as is mentioned in the hadith, that it's for mu'alaja and dawa, that it's for a means of cure and a means of what? Medicine. That if the person wearing kuhl, for example, Abu Sharif, he goes home, he gets ithmid, and then he applies it in his eye. He's like, I'm going to beautify myself. No. He has to make his intention what? That I'm doing this for mu'alaja and dawa. And that's exactly why the Prophet ﷺ said, in the nawm, to do it before sleep. Because if you do it in the daytime, people are going to see you. You're applying, it's kind of like, it's not la'iq, it's not something that is appropriate for men to do. Because it looks like you're wearing mascara, kind of. It looks like, you darkened your eyes and you're trying to beautify yourself for others. And that's why Imam Malik saw it to be disliked and makruh for a man to apply kuhl, except for the reason of cure and ilaj and tadawi. 2 ahadith left. I've explained everything. I'll just read them out of barakah. قال رسول الله عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن خير أكحالكم الإثمد يجل البصر وينبت شعر. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, the best kuhl that you can apply is al-ithmid, as I mentioned, and it strengthens the eyesight and boosts the growth of the eyelashes. عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عليكم بالإثمد فإنه يجل البصر وينبت الشعر. نفس الكلام الذي مررنا به. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. If there's any questions, I can take them. If there isn't, then Assalamu alaikum.